Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Manning Up in the Kitchen. I'm your host, Brother Amir Tracy Muhammad, and we're live here at Greater Grace Church, Community Church. You got so many names on this church.
Just Greater Grace Baptist Church, whatever you want to call it.
Wow, this is an awesome day here in Center Point, Alabama. One of the most amazing men that I know, who is Pastor Lawrence Jackson, and he's definitely a good shepherd. God has, I want to say thank you all to who are tuning in right now and those who will be coming. This is a very, very special day for Manning Up in the Kitchen. I have not done a live show since December. We got some great things coming. But I saw my brother, Pastor Lawrence Jackson, pushing a car up a hill. And as I share with people all the time, if you see somebody pushing something like that, you don't wait for them to ask you to help. You just jump on board and start pushing too. So that's what we're doing today here at Greater Grace Baptist Church here in Center Point, doing a little something to help push Pastor Jackson in the vision that God gave him of feeding 1,000 people. The title of his movement is Friends Feeding 1,000 People, because God gave him the vision, but he gives the provision through other people. So to all of my listeners of Manning Up in the Kitchen, those who support us, and otherwise, we thank you so much for tuning in today. I have the honor and the distinct pleasure of introducing a long time friend since we were boys over in Inslee at Central Park.
Yeah.
But anyway, Pastor, thank you so much,
Thank
brother.
you for having me, man.
Thank you for extending
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
a warm heart, a warm felt welcome to your church again.
Yes, sir.
The last time I was here, something happened. So we didn't just want to start this interview talking about feeding 1,000 people. I did not know, didn't want to, without giving some type of backdrop and history to put everything in context of what God has given to you. But the last time I was here at Greater Grace, I was sitting right over here. One of our young babies, 12-year-old young lady, was unfortunately killed. And I hit everybody real hard. And so I came as someone who's been in the community for 33 years. Sometimes you can be around a long time and you can get like comfortable. But I came with my heart heavy uh, because I wanted to stay sensitized. And I knew the pain that was a part of that loss. And I just wanted to be here with the family and support of you and the community for that family. And I had a handkerchief ready because I knew the pain that was involved. But God bless you that day in such a majestical way to stand right here and pour your heart, mind, and spirit out to this family and this community. And I forgot I had a handkerchief. That was one of the most profound moments in my life because he allowed you to pastor to all of us as you were in pain, but to do it in such a way that the pain that we were feeling, I know the family, with the humor, but with the word, uh, I'll never forget that moment. So I'd like to say thank you, brother,
Yes, sir.
for all that you do. And just tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where you from, man? Where you grew up in?
Man, well, I remember that moment too. That was a special moment in our church. This 12-year-old who was killed, and it's a sad moment, but it was a ministry moment. And so, it's moments like that as pastors you have to pull yourself out of it because it's not a moment for me to shine or a moment for me to express how much I know or if I'm a great orator or not. It's a moment for me to lift this family up and to give them something when they leave that they can hold on to. Because a lot of those are babies over here, 12, 13, some more 14 years old. They're babies and they didn't understand. But whenever a baby, a 12-year-old, or 14-year-old child come tell you, I really enjoyed the word, it means a lot because it means that, I had to preach it or teach it on a level where they can grab it. Pastor Lawrence Jackson, Lawrence Jackson, we go way back, as you said. I'm from Vinesville, Alabama. So if you don't know what Vinesville is, it's in between Fairfield and, those areas, Central Park and Vinesville kind of sit right in there. And but we were close knit in our community. And
So really, with being from Bynesville, I said earlier, he's a good shepherd, and he really is. But I could also say he's a true vine.
I am a true vine.
From Bynesville.
I am a true vine from Bynesville. And there's some of us, we were close knit in Bynesville, and we still are. Still friends with a lot of people from my hood, and we still close. You know, God called me to preach in 1991. And so since that time, I've been preaching the gospel and carrying the gospel to people. I love and loving on people. My heart is for people.
Yes.
And so most of the ministry that I do is to reach out to people and help people. 'Cause that's what my heart is. That's what God called me to do.
Yes.
And so I try to walk in that vein and stay within the realm of which God called me.
Right. So I want to talk about two special people to you.
Okay.
Pastor, father,
Yeah.
Jackson,
Yeah. Pop.
Pop.
Yeah.
And I remember him very, very, very stern man, loving man, family man, and also your wonderful mother.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Just talk about your parents for a few minutes and what they mean. Also your siblings, but especially the root, the mother and the father. Because this don't just happen by osmosis. Something had to be put in there. The ingredients had to be put in to help make you who the man you are.
Yeah, man, my parents were, my parents were parents. You know, I say that not lightly, and not sarcastically. They were parents, and we miss that in today's time. But you know, they were some good parents. They whipped, they beat, but I'm still here. My father's deceased; he died in 1988, and of course, my mother is still living. My mother's 80 years old, and she looks beautiful. She's in good health, but they instilled a lot in me. You know, love, you know, the love factor, you know, the peace factor. My father was a supporter as far as whatever I did. He played. I played baseball. You know, he come out there, I give you $1. He wore a suit every time. It's 100 degrees outside. He had no black suit at the park. He was like, I give you $1 and I cut you. And if you don't hit the ball, I cut you. You know, that kind of thing. But I learned how to live life. My mother, so much wisdom that she gave me, so much peace of mind. Even now, my mother will, when I'm going through anything, I call my mother, she'll call me. She consoles me even now. That's the kind of parents we had growing up, and with the love that they had, it helped me to disseminate that love and share with everybody. So that's what we try to do.
Absolutely. And I remember your brother Horace and your sister Yolanda and your sister Jackie
and
Cherie,
and Diane.
And Diane, you know, the whole family. So
I try to call my whole family, yeah.
Right. So all that makes us who we are.
Yeah, it's my siblings, and we're close knit. You know, we grew up in that time. You know, we could laugh at one another, crack on one another. That's all we did. Crack on each other and laugh. You can't do that now because everybody's so sensitive. They start shooting each other, you know, just because they argue. But we had the type of family we love one another, laugh at one another, talk about one another, and then embrace one another when one of us have a need. So I mean, we are real family. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, and I say the same thing. We're better than blessed because you know, all your brothers in particular don't have the story to tell like we do about having a father. Right? And if our fathers were at work or whatever, like my father, he worked a lot, but our coaches, you know, they were like your father. You know, it wasn't like you getting away. You know, so we were blessed, and to whom much is given, much is required. You know, for us to do what we're doing, to reach back and help. You know, so manning up in the kitchen, live here in Center Point, Greater Grace Baptist Church with this extraordinary pastor, visionary, Pastor Lawrence Jackson. Thank you for tuning in to Manning Up in the Kitchen today. We got a lot of more things to tell you about what's coming up in the near future with Manning Up in the Kitchen. We ain't cooking today in the kitchen, but we're gonna just ask God right now, Pastor, to continue to show out, and show up and show out, and touch many people's heart to make sure that the Friends Feeding 1,000 people will be above and beyond anything that you could have imagined. Because we'll talk more about that as we transition into the Greater Grace Cafe.
Thank you.
We're in the sanctuary.
This is a sanctuary. This is where we worship on Sundays, 10 o'clock every Sunday. And you're welcome to come and worship with us. Great people, man. Just a great atmosphere.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I would go out on the limb. You know, anybody that's looking for a home, a church home, I know you'll be in good hands. Not with Allstate, but this brother right here, Pastor Lawrence Jackson, and his helpers here, Greater Grace. So thank you so much. I want to say something as we begin to transition to the cafe, you helped me, with a vision that God gave me. And that's Breast Cancer Awareness 365. And a few years ago, we had a very wonderful gospel extraordinary program down at St. John's AME Church, or Pastor Sterling's church. And I had some of my cousins, some of the Bookers, and Nicole, and Clarissa Kente. You helped co-host that extraordinary event right before COVID. We're gonna do it again. But I want to thank you, man, for being there, regardless. You have always been there whenever I call for anything. You've showed up and you've been there, and I thank you for that. So doing this today is very easy for me.
I appreciate you.
I'm not returning a favor. I'm just walking with a man with faith.
I appreciate that. That's good stuff. I appreciate it. And then that's true friendship. What's dear to you becomes dear to me.
Yes, sir.
And it may not even be my calling, but because you're called to it. Our friendship, constrains me to jump in the boat with you and help you swim.
Right. God has blessed both of us with extra amount of influence.
Yes, sir.
And we don't take that for granted or lightly. And it's very important when God blesses you with influence, whatever the title is. He's like the wino, and I am too. We don't care what's on the label. We help people.
Right.
We don't be sitting back, no, I can't help you because you got this on your label.
Right.
We have been there for you.
Yeah, we both winos.
We winos. Some people like.
Not in the literal sense, I'm going to get straight.
We're not wine burgers. But the principle is people that drink wine, and they may have an issue with wine, they don't even question what's in the bottle.
Right.
They just want the wine. So God just wants us to serve people without looking to see their race, gender, and their labels. He just called us to serve, love on people. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
My brother, Pastor again. We're going to get ready to transition to Greater Grace Cafe.
We're going to the cafe. The cafe it is.
So how long you been here at Greater Grace now?
I've been here since 2019.
2009. That's right on the heels of the pandemic.
Yes, sir. I got here 6 months before the pandemic.
6 months.
So, right when I got here, man, we started doing work down the street, and of course our church burned, and we ended up being blessed with this location. But yeah, right on the heels of the pandemic. But God brought us through.
Right. So
let's
look at something. You talked about the fire that happened at your church.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And that was right before Thanksgiving.
Right before Thanksgiving, in November.
Right. So I remember that time.
Yes, sir.
And when I went on Facebook, I saw it. And it brought back memories too when I had a house fire and that we lost. And I saw your emotional state. And I reached out to you and said, that's natural. Because some people be like, it's only a building. No, it's more than a building. It's just that. When you know that nobody was hurt or nobody passed, you start thinking about what memories of that place and what it meant to you. So, but through all of that, on the other side of the fire don't just destroy, it also creates.
Yeah, creates.
And so God was also opening up something that you all didn't even see.
We didn't see and had no idea what God had in store. Even though we had this inkling, because I had been preaching about what God was going to do to our church, and I saw it. I just didn't see it, but in my spirit, I saw God doing something great. And so here we are at this great place, which is an opportunity to do ministry.
Yes. So you were about to feed people.
Yes.
Right before Thanksgiving. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, we on Thanksgiving we did a couple of things. We had a hot meal. We had a day where we had a hot meal, and we asked everybody from the community to come, and they got good food.
Right.
And they got a hot plate. Many they wanted just came and got it. And then we had turkeys and stuff that we were giving away.
Right.
And right when we were about to do that, a fire happened in our church that originated in our ceiling or somewhere in our church, according to the inspectors, and it burned the whole church within minutes. So that day, I was more hurt about not being able to help people than I was a building. Right. We had, buildings are buildings, no lives were lost, but I just wanted to help people. Right. And I said, man, everything we had was destroyed to serve these people.
but God blessed us to serve way more people.
Right. So my first experience here at Greater Grace, the new Greater Grace, with the same spirit, is when I came over to tour this beautiful edifice, educational institution. That's what
Yes,
this
sir.
is, because you're always teaching.
We'll take that.
You know, because it's the truth.
Yes, sir.
But as one of your assistants, Brother Lonnie, began to walk me around the campus, I couldn't stop walking. I'm like, and then I didn't get to see all of it. You know, so I was like, man, what a blessing that God has bestowed on a good shepherd. You know what I mean? And
Lonnie
so,
Barris, one of the best.
a lot of former co-workers.
Yeah, okay.
And so we saw each other here. It's like we were reconnected.
One of the best, man. God gave us good people. You know, leadership is about the leader being able to develop other people to become leaders and grab hold to that which you're doing. If I'm not developing and if I'm not inspiring others to carry a vision with me, all of the weight would end up on one person.
Right.
And that's why burnout becomes so familiar and so prevalent. I believe that whatever my heart is, I want to give it to others like Lonnie and other people here and say, let's take this ministry and run with it. Because it's bigger than me. And I can reduce it to me, but that only means if I reduce it to me, nothing happens when I'm gone.
Yes, that's right. So as you mentioned, you know, and I share with people, my brother Pastor, that one of the greatest acts of vanity is to be great while you're physically here. But your greatness dissolves once you transition from it.
So true, man.
You know, you were great. You did great things, but you left no one or no other people that can carry on the mission. That is really probably one of the greatest sins, an acts of vanity.
And that's a bad leader.
That's not a good shepherd.
He only led with present tense in mind.
Right.
No futuristic aspirations about what happens, you know. And not being gone is deceased.
Right.
Gone is retired, or gone is not able to do it anymore. Right. So you pave the way for other people by what you instill in them and allowing them to do it. And so, and giving other people the credit and not wanting all the glory to go to you. Glory goes first to the Father. Right. But you gotta elevate other people along the way.
That's right, because God has put himself in all of us.
Right.
And all of us have at least one talent or gift.
At least one.
But all of us have the same purpose, and that's really to glorify God, who's our creator.
That should definitely be our purpose.
Absolutely. So again, manning up in the kitchen, live from Greater Grace, this awesome cafe. Last time I was here, there was pastries, there was all kind of good things.
It will be tomorrow too.
Check. That's an invitation to discipleship.
Right.
But this is a beautiful place for people to come and get the word of God. But also, you have a daycare here. You're going to have a summer school program here.
We are working on that summer camp, June 1st through July 31st. Starts June 1st. Start summer camp, and then we're getting ready to open our school, which is Grace Academy School of Excellence, 6 months through 5 years of age. And we've done a lot of work on the other side to get it ready. We're going through the proper channels because we must be in line, number one, by God's laws and by state laws, and we honor the law. And so whatever they tell us, and that's how we abide, and whatever they need for us to open to be excellent and have integrity in what we do, we follow the guidelines. So therefore, I think a couple of weeks from now, I'm believing God that all will go well and our school will be open. And once that school is open, we'll be accepting applications, officially accepting applications for students. And I think we can get about 150 children in our school.
Wow.
And so we've been really blessed. And so you all look out for that day. And if your child is looking for excellent child care, we love to learn. We love to lift people. We love to love our children. And if your child is looking for an excellent daycare where they can be cared for and loved on, check out Grace Academy School of Excellence. I promise you won't be disappointed. We will make sure that we give them all the love they deserve.
That's right. So, like I said, man, this is prime church,
Yes,
ministry, prime real estate,
yes, sir.
on the prime
Yes,
highway,
sir.
Southern Point Highway.
Yeah, God did that.
Well,
God
did he do it?
God did that, and I love it because, and the reason why I don't take that for granted, Tracy, is because in our culture, I want to be real with you. In our culture, predominantly, the African American church, we were not really blessed to have churches on main roads.
Right,
All right. The reason being is because the black churches were mainly given land back in the day.
right,
Right? We come a long way, but we were given land and property.
right,
All right. Well, the land that was given to us was not on main roads because it wasn't owned by us.
right.
The land given us was back, turn right, turn left, back in the corner, because somebody in our churches said, hey, we own this land, we'll give it to the church. Or they bought land in those areas. But for these churches, where we are now, this prime real estate, let's just be honest, it was owned by predominantly white, Caucasian people, and they donated it to their churches. That's why when you ride on the highways, on the expressways, mainly what you see is not African American churches, but you see mainly predominantly white churches. Here's why: they had the land and they owned the land.
That's right.
We were blessed though that land that we did not own will own once. But this pastor, God gave him, he gave us favor with this pastor David Haynes and this church,
Right.
and they found us and planted us here on a main road in Center Point. You can ride up and down Center Point Parkway, and I can validate my posture on that. This is a huge parkway, and you can ride down the parkway and you will see the churches that are African American on the parkway was not originally.
Absolutely.
But God did a thing, and He did a thing to reach us so that we can reach the people where we serve. And I don't want to let heaven down or the people down that I pastor or this church down by not doing ministry. That's why I fight so hard to keep ministry going, because that's what we're called to do.
Right. And one other thing, as we get into the heart of Friends Feeding 1,000 people, you're also a social activist.
I am.
Now, I remember when E.J. Bradford was killed in Hoover Police Office, that you went before the Hoover City Council,
I did.
that night, and you spoke to them about your concerns. And I was watching that, and that ain't easy to do unless you know God.
Right.
You can't believe in Him to do that. It was the right thing to do more than anything. But the people saw you stand up. So, what did that moment mean to you in your ministry, in the ministry that God gave to you?
It meant a lot, man. Those are tense moments, because whenever you encounter racism, what you perceive to be racism,
Right.
and you're fighting for that which you perceive to be wrong in discriminatory actions toward a certain race.
Right.
In this case, we felt like that wasn't enough being done in this area to protect the well-being of the African American race. So whenever you deal with that, it is tough because you have to really express the fact. And so when you deal with racism, people get offended even if they're not involved,
Right.
because you're talking about that particular race. All right? So people will be against you just because of your stance on the matter.
Right.
Now, I don't think nobody was saying that the whole city is racist, because there are some good and bad in every area.
That's right.
But if you got an undertone, or if you got a climate of racism, is what we were after. So what I was trying to express to them, let's do the right thing and not the white thing.
Right.
And let's not just appease a certain gender race. Let's make sure that every race is treated fairly, because we do go there and spend our money,
Right.
and we should be treated equally like every other citizen. So that's always a tense moment, but it has to be done. Somebody has to do it.
Absolutely. When the good shepherd do it, it has a bigger, broader effect.
Yeah.
That's why God elevates us. He's not elevating us for ourselves, but He's elevating us so we can have a maximum effort and support for the sheep.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
As Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep.
Yeah, man.
And so I saw you put it all on the line that night.
I did. I was hot and bothered by that, because of the lackadaisical attitude towards some of them who have the expressions of I don't care. And I think compassion goes a long way. You do that. So
I'm looking up at something up there on the wall that said compassion is our culture. So you're not looking at that because I'm looking at that, but it's in you.
It's in it. And that is our culture. That's part of our church. We express on Sundays that compassion is our culture. We want to create a culture of people who are compassionate to others. Yes. And you have to do that past their race or their economical status or their preference, right, sexuality. You have to deal with that. You be compassionate toward people and love people. I teach at the church, right, that God didn't call us into policing. Right. That's right. He did. But he called us here to love people. And then we teach people the word of God, right, and let the word of God do the correcting, which is hard for people to do. But the word of God is actually the corrector, not us. And I think we always mess up when we try to be the corrector. Here's the problem. If I make myself the rule and the standard, and if I start correcting, then they're going to start looking at me and say, well, about the issues you get. Right. Okay? So I'm not even qualified to do the correcting. I'm only called to preach the gospel. And all the corrective measures that need to be done is already in the word of God.
And the same word that convicts others, it convicts us.
Exactly.
You know, so thank you very much, Pastor. Again, manning up in the kitchen right here live at Greater Grace Baptist Church here in Center Point, Alabama, with my brother and friend, Pastor Lawrence Jackson, the visionary of Friends Feeding 1,000 people. So we did all we just did to lay the base to talk about the vision that God gave you.
Man.
How long is that vision of feeding 1,000 people has been on your heart and mind? Give us the source. What has inspired you? We know who, but what has inspired you in such a magnificent way?
This is this is a scaled down version until we grow. My ultimate goal is to feed 5,000. That's the word. Took 2 fish, 5 loaves, fed 5,000 men like John Lennon the children. Right. 2 fish there and 5 loaves in the text. It could paralyze one's thinking if they get caught up in just the actual miracle without seeing the message behind the miracle. He did take 2 fish and 5 loaves and he spread the 5,000. Right. But I use that as an analogy as what if we took just a few people, right? A few people and fed 5,000 who got a heart to do it. Take a few people, put those people in the Lord's hand, ask God to bless you until we grow. Right. That I use that to say, hey, you know what? I don't have to have a whole lot of people. I just want people who are willing. And after we've done that, here's what we did. We said we're going to do 1,000 people on every side of town. North side, east side, west side, south side. And not just at the church where I am, which we will be a location on the east side. Right. But we have a church on the north side, Greater New Heights Baptist Church, Pastor Alfonso Bowen. On the south side, Pastor P.B. Hatchison, the 23rd Street South. And then on the west side, the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, Dr. Quentin Earl Hammonds, who will host us on the west side. On that day, there will be people there's a hot plate.
What about the east side?
I said the east side. Oh, east side, Greater Grace Baptist Church, Pastor Lawrence Jackson. Woo! I forgot us. So on that day, we will have a hot plate. We will have a product, which they would get like toiletries, a bunch of stuff they'll get to take home. Right. And they will get prayer. Okay, there'll be a tenor for prayer. They want prayer for themselves, prayer for their families, prayer for their workplace, whatever they need. And that's going to be the social service aspect, where we have different social service out there empowering people, along with people from those churches who may own businesses, may be vending for free out there. So if the inspiration came because of this. This is not an event, feeding 1,000 is not an event just to feed the homeless. All right? So I want to make that clear. Because I think when we're feeding people, we say we're feeding the homeless, I think the title of that runs a lot of people off because they may not be homeless, but they're still hungry. Yes. And everybody who's hungry ain't homeless. That's right. Some people just have financial difficulties and could appreciate a hot meal. And they're not usury, they just really need it. So what I've done was I said, let's empower people by giving them a hot plate. Here's what that does. They get their food free, right? Now, by them getting their food free, they can empower community by putting those dollars somewhere else. That's why the vending is there, because now you can support somebody else, because it's all about empowering people. Right. And so this is something you don't have to do. We're giving you product. You ain't got to buy this. But you can go buy a $2 cupcake from an individual out there who
Gone in 2 minutes.
right and go. But here's why: because now you just supported another business and you save money yourself, and a whole community was empowered. That's the first piece. I want to empower people. The second piece is I want to change the climate of our city. We've created a culture in our city and a climate of violence. And I don't know, many may not understand this. The killing itself, I mean, yes, it's horrible. That's the results. But we got to understand, there's a climate of violence, which means it's almost like a co-signing, like it's okay to do. A city can create that kind of culture and be careful about creating it, because there are some cities who they won't even go into. The same people who kill, they dare not go into. Why is it that Birmingham, we got a good mayor, we got a good leadership, but why is it that we're creating so much violence in our city, but they won't go to Vestavia and do it on that level? They won't go to Hoover and do it on that level. They won't go to Mountain Brook and do it on that level. Why is that? I can tell you why. Because they respect the police departments. They respect it so much until they know they're going to get caught. They may do it, but they said, I ain't going over there. But here's the thing. We got a great mayor. I love our mayor. But what we got to do is make sure that people understand that, number one, we will not put up with the foolishness. You know, you're going to get got, you're going to get locked up, and period. But see, it ain't the people, the mayor and the city, it's the people who co-sign this stuff. Why y'all messing with them? They can create violent accidents instead of us defending what the act that's wrong. We want to defend the person who did it. You know, this is what I call creating a climate where we accept it. That's right. You know, and so I want to change the climate by spreading love in our city. That's all I want. Spread love and share the love we have. Feed people. Let people come out there and get a free meal. Let people come out there and enjoy one another and get to know those communities.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
And
so we're not looking at an event, we're looking at a movement. Yes. And so I'm just very grateful. And one of the things I thought about when I was reflecting on today, the interview, was there are a lot of people in America, millions of people, who really don't have $400 in their bank account. These are working people. And there are many, as we would call, food deserts. And even people that don't necessarily live in a food desert, their income is not what they really would like to be right now. So there are a lot of people, as you mentioned earlier, who are hungry, but they're not homeless. You know, and then with all the negative things going on around us, then it's just good to see good people perform an act of kindness. Man, this is an act of kindness, what you're doing. And as Dr. Martin Luther King talked about the many levels of love, but he said the greatest level of love is doing something without looking for nothing in return. You know, that's the greatest love. You're not looking for a transaction. You come here, you get this, you know, but you're doing it from the place, you know, that God called you to do.
And I want the people to be blessed. There's so many, there's so many strategists around us in our city. There's so many strategists who has answers and stuff. But I feel like the only way you're going to get that out there is you must discuss it and talk about it and find a platform and do something so you can be heard and allow your voice to be heard. So this is one way that the voice is heard from the Christian perspective, that we're doing more, and the Black church. And I need to say this because the Black church takes a bad rap from people. Right. You know, with social media, the Black church is often dogged out for its lack of involvement in the community. Right? Here's what I'm saying. But when we get involved in the community, how many people are jumping on with us to help get it done? Right. Besides saying Black church ain't doing nothing. That's why I don't go to Black church ain't doing nothing. That's not necessarily true. Now you're always going to have, bad apples in every bunch. You know what I'm saying? Right. No sense. But what I'm saying is, we when we do things as this, it is also to say not just our church, but other churches really care about our community and really want to reach out. And it's not about prosperity. It's not about it's not about trying to get something from people. It's about trying to get something to people. That's right. You know, and in order to get it to people, you walk, you're out there in the thick of things, and you say, hey, let's love people. I want people to see that positive message about us.
Right.
You know, the predominantly black. Now we have different races in our church and people from different countries in our church. But I want people to know that the predominantly black church is not sitting on idle, not doing anything. That bothers me to hear that. Especially when I know there are great churches out there who are predominantly black, who sweat in tears and do everything they can to make sure our community is taken care of. And not just our community, whatever community we can serve, we want to make sure it's taken care of.
Well, and a lot of work that's involved with the church, law, synagogue, it's going unnoticed because when you're doing the pastoral work, you don't put that on Front Street. Those phone calls that come at midnight. You know, that person that is in the hospital, you have to go visit them. Our sister, Sandra's son, just got was put in prison or jail. She wants somebody to go talk. So a lot of the real work is not in the physical, it's in the spiritual. Because in the spiritual, you don't get to see that. And that's why I'm a proponent of the black church, because I'm also a product of the black church. Zion Hill Baptist Church, Reverend P.C. Reefers. So you never hear me talk bad about the church.
Yeah. And
that's a part of that ingredients that's made me the man I am today.
Same here. I grew up in, and I love it. And let me be clear, I love every church open that's spreading the love message.
Yeah.
You know, I love the fact that people can work together.
Yes.
To make ministry happen. So I don't think I think we're number one, we pin that name on church.
Right.
I'll build my church, but I was in the gates of hell, so I'm not rebelling against it. We pin a name on it that caused us to be a little paralytic in our thinking, because another thing is black church, white church. You know, if no matter what church you go to, just be the church. You know, be the church and be that person who you should be as you represent the Christ you serve. That is Jesus Christ. So now, having said that, that's why we're doing this, to kind of change the culture and the climate of our community and try to add love to all of the food that we see.
But this can't be hard for you. You've been doing it already. You're just doing it, to me, on a whole other level.
We want to make it, because eventually I want to spread this all over Alabama.
Right.
You know, on the same day, same time. Everybody feeding, everybody got the same thing going on, and we make a difference.
So, you know as well as I know, when you're doing something, not even on this level, it's not going to happen without volunteers.
Oh man, I need
so see that?
I need them.
Yeah, we need you, Lord. We need you. But anyway, let's talk about those who have the volunteers. You don't have to mention names, but it takes a lot, because there's moving parts going on. A lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you need right now, people that you will need to assist?
So we have
tell us a date that it's going to take place.
May 27th, 10 o'clock a.m., 10:30 at those locations. Excuse me.
If anybody just told you what locations are those?
Okay, I give it to. And y'all excuse me, my son's been draining for about 6 months, so and it won't leave me alone.
Right.
But anyway, so May 27th, locations: East Side, Greater Grace Baptist Church, 1945 Central Parkway, U.S. Street the Pastor. South Side, 23rd Street Baptist Church, Pastor P.B. Henderson. I'm going to ask him the address, but I'll give it to you later. North Side, Greater New Heights Baptist Church, Pastor Alfonso Bowen. And then the West Side, the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, 1220 Hattie Street. I know that address because that's my home church. Hattie Street, and that's in the Pratt City community, and Pastor Q.E. Hammonds. Now, all these will take place at the same time. Our goal is to feed at least 250 people on each side. They get a hot meal. Hot meal, good baked chicken. It's going to be a good hot meal. It's going to be served to the people. They're going to get product, okay? They're going to get a free bag of product, and they're going to get prayer, and they're going to get service out there from different entities who are in our service fields. They're going to get info from counseling services, whatever they may need. Right. It's going to be something out there for everybody. We're going to serve everybody. And they're going to be able to check out the other things. They may have clothes at some of these, free clothes, whatever they're going to have at the sites. It's about empowering. It's about empowerment, and what we're trying to do is empower the people in our communities to love. That's May 27th, May 27th, and you'll be hearing more about it. It's on my Facebook page on Lawrence Jackson. But my team, I can't tell you nothing about my team. I don't want to call their names because I'll miss somebody. But all of you on the team right now who are helping make this happen, Friends United, man, they are the best of the best. They in it. They love it. They've been meeting every Thursday on the Zoom, and we need volunteers and we need help. So
That's right. So I just want to tell you this. I can't tell you everything, but I do have a team. I'm putting together a team to help you.
woo! Hallelujah.
With the Man It Up in the Kitchen show. So we have some people who are going to be helping. They may not be there that day. Some of them may be there that day, but they're going to have their part in helping to feed Friends feeding 1,000 people. So
we owe God the praise for that. Thank you.
So your territory is increasing.
Thank you.
I think you prayed that prayer one
We
time.
did. I did. And we need it. Thank you so much, man, for all the help y'all offer. And listen, if you can't make it, if you want to give a donation, they can do so by Cash App. Thank you for sowing, and that's money sign, of course, dollar signs THANK, the letter U, the number 4, and the word SOWING. THANK, the letter U, the number 4, SOWING. Thank you for sowing. All right. If you just want to do that, you can't come. Anything that you do, what we're doing is buying product, and we are getting everything we need to set up that day, and it's a big operation. But I thank God for all our help. Thank God for you, man.
Long way from Vinesville, Alabama.
Long way from Vinesville.
Central Park.
Yes, sir.
Man, you used to, I never known you as a hitter, per se. You know, you can hit the ball. But you was that pitch runner.
I was, man. I was fast, man.
You was quick as lightning.
I was fast, man. I used to hit that ball, and then they called me up the pinch runner. Man, I was running. Boy, I was fast. Boy.
That's right.
Oh, God, I could run. That's when I was smaller. Praise God. You can beat me now. Don't worry. Whoever listens, they can beat me running now. But back then, I was the GOAT.
Go for real, you know. Don't let him, if he don't hit it, just let him run it.
Let him run it. Put him up there. He gonna get on base.
Somebody hit a single, you could be on first.
I'll be on goal.
Hopefully. But anyway, brother, just add a little levity to everything. I just want to tell you that I love you and I appreciate you.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much.
When you love God, you love the truth, and you love people. And when you see others who have that same spirit and heart, this was very easy for me to do. I came out of hiding with Man It Up in the Kitchen. But I knew if God gave me that vision, and it is growing, that I want to use whatever influence I have to elevate yourself as well as other people, but and particularly you know, because I know you're coming from a deep place, you know. So I just want to tell you, we don't tell each other as brothers, I love you, but I love you deeply and unconditionally, you know. And I pray that God continue to bless you and your wife. And I just want to tell you this part. You'll find out the other part that the friends are doing. But my family, my children, and I, we're going to have a gift certificate for you. And your wife will go to Michael's.
Oh, thank you,
on
man.
us.
Thank
As you climbing this mountain with this ministry.
Thank you, man.
That you have time to go spend time with your loved one.
Oh, man. That
Your
is
heartbeat, your backbone.
That's my girl, too. Ooh, I love her, Miss Kalana Jackson. That's my boots.
I'll try to help you out because I ain't want to leave without bringing up the mic.
Oh, she knows, man. She knows I'm running home to her as soon as I leave. You know, I'm coming home to you, baby.
Any more parting words you'd like to share with the listening audience, Man It Up in the Kitchen?
I want to say support Manning Up in the Kitchen with my brother, Tracy Muhammad. Please support it. Please. And follow him because you're going to get powerful information that can change your life. And second, I'm going to say to everybody listening to me, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on life and don't give up on your dreams. And definitely don't give up on God. And things may be rocking right now, and they probably are to the point where you would call them out of control. It very well could be the case. And whatever the diagnosis is, whatever the prognosis is, you're probably thinking, there's nothing else I can do, and I just feel like throwing in the towel because when I get one thing done, something else happens. But I want to speak to you. There is still hope for you. and God can turn your situation around. I need you to pull yourself up. Here's what I need you to do. Find your strength and work through your stress. Don't focus on your weaknesses and what you don't have. So whatever you have left, build on that, and I promise you, you will see some light at the end of your tunnel. God got great things in store for you. You got to hold on, though. You got to hold on.
To hold on to his unchanging hand.
You got to hold on.
You know, so family, friends, Man It Up in the Kitchen, we thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Saturday day. You know, spending your time with us today. Some of the things I will mention briefly that Man It Up in the Kitchen will be going on the national platform this coming fall. That's the announcement I wanted to make. We were not courted, or we were courted by some black owners of some. I won't go too far into it right now, but it's going to be going national, and also.
And that's why he got me out the way. All the local boys before he go national. Okay, I get it now. I knew it was something. Okay.
I said unconditional. This was on Godfrey County. Now how you find it out? It's not
you heard
so,
it? He said, "Listen, I'm going national, but let me just deal with Lil Jackson." I got it. Okay.
Action Jackson. But anyway, I just want to share that with everybody, and I thank you to the Man It Up in the Kitchen family for tuning in and sharing what we do. And I don't ever want to be ungrateful for such an honor that God bestowed. I did not plan on when I started the show for that kind of honor, but to God be the glory. We'll use it to further helping God help His people and choosing better, healthier life choices with food and nutrition. And as my brother just said, to God be the glory, the things that He have done and that He will do. Ladies and gentlemen, may God bless you to have a beautiful rest of your day on today, and that He bless you with your family. And as our pastor said, those who are going through sickness and disease, that we pray that He heal you and deliver you and set you free for anything that's enabling you from being healthy and having a quality of life. Thank you again. My name is Brother Amir Tracy Muhammad, host of Man It Up in the Kitchen. You have listened to Pastor Extraordinary and Visionary of Friends Feeding 1,000 People, Pastor Lawrence Jackson, here at Greater Grace Baptist Church and Greater Grace Cafe. Thank you again. To God be the glory.